Good afternoon, everybody. It's Nathan with the South Mountain YMCA camps, and today we're going to make a compass. So, thanks for being patient. This is the third restart of this. We've had technical difficulties, but we're going to go back and start over and make sure that we have everything we need to make a compass today. So, if you would, make sure that you have a pair of pliers, a piece of cork. These are two pieces of cork, and you can ask your family, your parents, to go ahead and cut a small section of cork for you. You're going to need one sewing needle, a 1 to 2 inch sewing needle, and you're going to need a refrigerator magnet. Magnet right off of your refrigerator. We're going to be using that today to help magnetize our needle so that we can create our compass. You're also going to need a bowl. Just a shallow bowl with some water in it, because in a few moments we're going to be floating our cork with our magnetized needle on it to create our compass. So, while you are getting those things together, refrigerator magnet, needle, pliers, cork, and shallow bowl with water, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a compass and where it comes from and how we use them. So, compasses like this have been around for a long time. The very first compass was created more than 2,000 years ago in China, and they were using magnetized lodestones in order to tell directions. Around 1200 AD, when we're talking about medieval Europe now, folks started to create their first compasses in Europe, and they were making both dry and wet compasses. Today we're going to be making a wet compass, meaning we're putting our compass and floating it in a bowl of water. This would be a dry compass. There's no water in it. It's just got the needle, magnetized needle, balanced in the center of the device. So we've used compasses like this for 2,000 years to get our bearings and directions and help guide us, particularly when we're in the wilderness or we're exploring new sites. And you're going to learn today how to make a compass somewhat similar to this right in your very own home. So again, hopefully you've had time to get together a needle. There's a small needle there on the screen you might not be able to see. A magnet, a piece of cork, a pair of pliers, and a shallow bowl with water. So we're going to start with the cork. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to get a piece of cork cut, small and like this, about 1/4 of an inch wide, and just the regular cork size. Or you could cut a cork right down the middle. I tried this a little bit earlier and this works too. We're just going to float it and balance the needle on top. But the most important piece of this project is to take that needle that we have, lay it down on the table in front of you, put your finger on the end with a hole, and then take that refrigerator magnet that you found, and I want you to rub it along the needle in one direction only. So take it and rub it away from you. We're magnetizing that needle, rubbing it in one direction. And you can do this 10, 12 times just to make sure that it's magnetized. If you want to know whether or not your new magnetized needle works, you can take something like a paper clip and you can see if your needle can pick it up yet. So you can see my magnetized needle is able to pick up a paper clip. So that's telling me that we've transferred enough of that magnetic force from the original magnet to the needle. I'm going to go ahead and rub it a couple more times. Remember, always in the same direction. I'm rubbing it away from myself. Now, if you want to make a compass that you'll be able to use over time, you can actually take your needle and the pair of pliers and you could push it through this section of cork and you'd be able to have that for a long time. Today, what I'm going to show you is just that we can float that needle on top of the cork. So we're going to bring the water a little closer. We've magnetized our needle, we've placed it on the cork, and we've placed that in the water. And you'll see that it's spinning itself around. Now this is our moment of truth. Does this work or does it not work? Here's how you can tell. Can you see the compass right here next to it? The compass and that needle should be pointing in about the same direction, which they are right now. Again, if you want to take this compass and make it something that lasts, you can push it actually through the cork. You can also tape it to the cork. Let's go ahead and try it on the different shaped piece of cork that we have here. I'm not sure if you can see that. Hopefully you can. It's pointing south, which is what our compass is pointing as well. So this direction is south. The compass says that too. Now we can mess with this. And we'll bring this up so you can see it. So a compass is not foolproof, particularly a magnetic compass, because it's susceptible to having a magnet mess with it. So if our magnet gets too close to the compass that we've created in the water, it actually is going to pull the needle all over the place, and it's going to mess up the directions. So once you've created your magnetized floating compass, you want to move the other magnets out of the way so that it has a chance to work properly. And again, you'll see it pointing north to south. Now, can this needle tell us which direction is north and which is south? No, but it can tell us that north and south are running this direction. So, you created that magnetized needle and that compass. You've floated it on your water, which is a pretty cool experiment for today. And you've learned that if you push that needle through the piece of cork, you can have that hang around with you for a little bit longer and use it in other ways. So I'm just going to move that to the side. I'm going to go ahead and fold up our piece of cloth, and we'll bring a map out so we can take a look at that with our compass. So whether we are talking about a dry or a wet compass, one of the interesting things about maps today is that they're made to always orient north when they're printed. So this is a map of Cushion Peak. I'm not sure if you can see that in front of you, but right here is Cushion Peak on camp, right in the very center. It's the densest area because this is a topographic map, and every time the lines get closer and closer together like that, that's showing you that it's getting steeper and steeper, or steeper and steeper down. So the elevation's changing as that gets more and more dense in these lines, and you can see the lines being far apart here and getting closer and closer as we move to Cushion Peak right there. So this map is north to south in this direction. If I were to put my compass there in the center, if you can see that, the compass is telling us that north is that direction and south is that direction. So how would you use this map and compass together? Well, generally, if you were wanting to get your bearings with a map, the very first thing you'd want to do is make sure that the map and the compass agree. So if the lines on this map are meant to show running north to south, we want to line our compass up so that the compass is pointing north to south along those very same lines. And then that can help us know what direction we're facing and where we're heading. So in this case, we just have a little bit more to turn, and we can tell that we've got, let me turn the compass as well. So you want to orient the compass to north to south. We can tell that we've got our compass pointing north to south right now, and we've got our map pointing north to south right now. The first step in reading any map is making sure that we are looking at the map in the direction that the compass is telling us. So you can go ahead and take a map. We posted them today on Facebook, a map of Cushion Peak, and you can try and orient yourself to the map. Remember, if you use a map, it's north to south, always oriented top to bottom in modern maps today. And you just want to make sure that on a standard compass like this, the compass has an actual indication of which end of that needle is north by painting it red. And whenever we're looking at it, we can first orient our compass so that it's pointing north, as that is right now, and then we can orient our map to do the very same. And that's going to give us a better sense of where we are on that map. So the other piece you would need to know at any time when you're looking at a map is where you are. It doesn't make much sense to have a map and try and figure out our directions if we don't know where we're starting. So, in the case of me today, this is Cushion Peak, and camp is over here. This is the equestrian center. As we look down, we'd be coming down from Cushion Peak. We'd be going across Cushion Peak Road, equestrian area, and main camp is almost off the map right over here. So that's about where I'm sitting today, right there. And I would need to know, if I wanted to get to Cushion Peak, what direction would I need to head? So our map is telling us that that's north. Our map is oriented so that it's facing north to south. I'm right here. In order to get over to Cushion Peak, I would have to travel east in an almost straight line from the office right now over to Cushion Peak. And I wouldn't know that if I hadn't lined up my map to my compass. So a couple other brief notes about a compass before we let folks get back to what they're doing today. Let's talk a little bit about what else and where else you can learn about orienteering and maps and compasses. And let's talk just a little bit about some things that you can look into on your own. So first, we talked about orienting a map and compass. We've already looked at what happens when we introduce another magnet to our compass. It messes up the compass and doesn't allow it to work properly. So you want to make sure that you keep other magnets and metals away from that compass. Why does it work? We didn't discuss that yet, but this is really important. Why does a compass work? Why does a compass point to north after we've magnetized that needle, like we did in our wet compass earlier, which is doing a nice job still pointing the directions for us over here, which is pretty awesome. Compasses, the magnetic compass is actually trying to point to the magnetic north, which is not the same as the North Pole. Magnetic north is created by the magnetic fields that are produced by our planet rotating and the electrical charges it releases. So magnetic north isn't actually at the North Pole, it's off from the North Pole. And they correspond roughly to our North and South Pole. Other things that you might want to check out to learn more about a compass and use at home. This is on the worksheet that we posted earlier today online. You can go to Wikipedia and actually look up the history of the compass, and it'll share some of the things that I shared with you today in a lot more detail. If you want to learn more about how a compass works, you can check out wonderopolis.org and you can look at how does a compass work. That's going to actually show you too how to use a compass with a map. As is, if you look up on YouTube using a map and compass, it's going to have some really great resources there. Those links, like I said, are already on our handout for today on how to use a map and compass. So again, I hope you got a lot out of this. I'm sorry that we started a little late and that I don't have more time to spend with you today here on the mountain. But again, if you want to do this at home, just a section of cork, a refrigerator magnet from your very own refrigerator, a needle, and a shallow bowl of water will create your very own compass in your house, and it'll always help you find your way when you're feeling a little lost. Until we see you back at camp, guys, it's been so nice chatting. Keep the fires burning. We'll see you back here soon.